Hi, my name is Ellie Drew, your clairvoyant researcher. Welcome back to our next episode here with Remember. That's the name of this, Remember. So it's remember who you are, remember your true self, how to reattach and get connected back to your true self. It's really not even get connected back to your true self, it's really just being your true self and erasing the rest that isn't your true self and allowing that true self to shine out. Now I want to review a little bit from the last session. We talked about the three Dantien, Chinese word meaning seas of energy. I see them as balls of radiant light like sunshines. So you have your biggest sunshine right here at the heart chakra. You have another one in the head, but I actually don't, a lot of times people will point up here. I actually perceive it to be more behind the nose, in. You have your third sun down in your lower Dantien, your lower or power center. And so you have your heart wisdom, you have your mind wisdom that helps you facilitate in this world, and then you link it to power. If you don't link it to power, then you don't have any power to be able to push. And why wouldn't you have any power? So I'm going to tell you. When I first started doing some body work, and I didn't even mean to have a business doing body work years ago, but I got some training for massage therapy only so I could swap with other massage therapists because I love to get massages. Well, it turns out that as I was doing massage on people, I would start picking up information. And people would want to know what that information was. And over time, I had all these people coming to me, and I said, why are you coming to me? Well, we're not coming to you for massage, Ellie, although your massages are really good. We're coming to you so that you can do that thing you don't know what it is you're doing, which was, I didn't know I was psychic at that time. I just knew that I got information. It was just, it's hard to explain. When you live with something, it's normal for you. So anyway, I started picking up information on people. And the funniest one was when I was working on this woman's leg, a calf, and I was massaging it. And right in the center of my palm, I got electrocuted. And my broom is beautiful, the music is playing, my little waterfall is playing. So it's this really nice, quiet room. I can't yell out, ow! So but I'm going, ow! I'm kind of shaking my hand and rubbing the center of my palm going, what was that? And then I was stupid enough to go right back to it and I got shocked again, just as if I stuck a screwdriver into an electrical socket and it hurt again. Well, this time I wasn't so stupid as to just immediately go back again. So I start going like this and I like, go away, go away. And actually as I was doing this pain spike or whatever this spike was that electrocuted me, I could see it melting till I felt pretty comfortable to go back and I could start massaging her leg again, her calf. So I asked her, I said, Barbara, what happened to you here? Do you know if anything happened to you here? And she thought about it and no, she couldn't think of anything. And I continued to give her a massage. And then it just came to me, let me see if I can place my hand on that spot to see if I can get any information, just to see what happens. And so she said, she gave me permission and I laid my hand on her calf and I ended up seeing a cameo, just a cameo, and it was a sailboat. And so I told her what I was seeing. And I said, does this mean anything to you? She thought about it. No, didn't mean anything. So I continued my massage on her and all of a sudden, this is what happens. She gasps. Oh, I remember. We were out on Lake Minnetonka. There were 4 of us. None of us were wearing life jackets. We were new to sailing a boat. We didn't know what we were doing, and there was a squall that came across the lake, and the boat tipped over, and we were all thrown out of the boat, and the boat landed on top of us. And I went, cellular memory. That was my first knowledge of cellular memory, that we hold these memories within our system. So anyway, the whole thing about the massage thing is I started to perceive things on people's body. And I started to notice that the big energy field around a person wasn't around a person. I started reading energy medicine books, and they were saying, yeah, you have this egg-shaped symbol, or energy field around you. And I'm looking at people going, I'm thinking these books are lying. Because what I found is that the people who were very mental, their egg was untethered and their egg shape went up and around them. People who were in their emotions would think they were heart-centered, which they're not. They're coming from their emotions, which is in the solar plexus. And I would see they were untethered to the solar plexus. They were not tethered down where they were supposed to be, and I could see that at the base of the spine, it's like a plug-in socket at the base of the spine, and that it had lifted up, untethered, I just said untethered, and it either lodged in the solar plexus for those people who are overly emotional, or up in the head for people who are overly mental. And so, like a balloon, their energy field was up and out of their body. Well, if your energy field is up and out of your body, how can you perceive anything except the mental realms and the emotional realms? And those are specific fields of energy. And this is why so many people are convinced of their delusions, because that's what they're perceiving. However, if you want to be in your power and to be lodged in your power center, you have to pull your plug-in, for lack of a better word, down through your spinal column and lock it in at the base of your spine. For those of you who are emotional, you need to pull it down and lock it in to the base of your spine. This is your energetic tether. And if you are not energetically tethered, this is some of the things that can happen. I had a woman who came to me with, she wanted me to do some energy assessment on her. And this is a woman who got involved with a meditation group that had uber duper super special secret, only I can teach you advanced meditation, master level meditation technique. And so there was a group of these people up in Minneapolis who were doing this work. And I would look at these people going, whatever work they're doing, it is trouble. Because what I could see is that she was really very much out of her body and not tethered at all. So when she came for her energy assessment, here I have my beautiful, quiet, ambient room with the light down and the music playing. And I'm at her ankles, and I'm doing an energy pulse up and down to assess what's going on with her. And as I was doing that, she had this blissful smile on her face, and I saw out of the center of her chest, this yellow sulfury like essence leaving. And I wondered, what in the world is that? And so if you want to know what something is, what do I do? And what do? You bring your attention. Remember I said I'm going to always mention where you put your attention. So instead of putting my attention on doing an energy assessment up and down her body, when I saw that sulfury thing, I put my attention to the sulfury thing, and I realized instantly that she was oozing out her own life force energy. And so in this beautiful, quiet, ambient room, I knew I needed to stop her from doing this. And I said very loudly, in this quiet room, "What are you doing?" And she jumped, which is what I wanted her to do, and it instantly stopped her from oozing her life force energy. And I said, "What were you just doing?" "Oh, I was merging with God, and I was seeing purple, and it was so beautiful." And I said, "I can guarantee you, lady, you were not merging with God. What you were doing was oozing out your life force energy." And I said, "I need you to get off the table." "Well, what do you mean, get off the table? I'm here for an energy assessment." I said, "The best thing that I can do for you is to get you back into your body." And so I had her get off the table, and I also asked her a couple of questions. You see, there's 3 ways that you renew your system: with food, with sleep, and by doing energy practices that cultivate your energy, called Qigong. And so I knew what was going on with her. She was very overweight. And I said to her, "Are you hungry all the time?" "Oh, I'm starving. It's like no matter how much I eat, I can't get enough." Well, you see, she was doing these uber duper special super secret master level meditation practices, and they were teaching her how to leak out all of her life force energy. And so if she was doing these practices multiple times a day, she was literally oozing out her life force energy. And so the next question I asked her is, do you feel like you need extra sleep? "Oh, when I get done doing my super secret meditation practices, I have to sleep 2 to 4 hours afterwards." Now that should have given her a clue. She was oozing out her life force energy. But because I'm a clairvoyant, I could see it. And so what I did is I had her stand in front of me, and I started to teach her how to bring her energy body back into her system. So for those of you who are very mental, those of you who are emotional, thinking you're connecting with God and that it's somewhere out there, it's not true. God is not out there. There is nothing out there except the reflection that we collectively in this consensus reality are reflecting out here to give us a 3D world, or as the I Am Love poem says, this playground of God that we are privileged to be here to play in. And so we are creating this playground, and we get caught up thinking that the playground is all real. You remember Star Trek and the hologram? What's it called? The holodeck? And you could program what kind of experience you wanted to have, what kind of music you wanted to have, what kind of girl you wanted to have. And then you could start it out, and they could go into the holodeck, and they could play out that role. You are on Earth holodeck. We have co-creative power to change everything here. I am working with a healer that I literally saw change a scoliosis spine into a straight spine in 20 minutes. World around us is not what you think it is. When you are lost in the polarities, this is what happens. Now let me explain the polarities. So I have an Ethernet cable, and when you pull out one side of the Ethernet cable, the other side comes out at the same time. And there's a button that you can push that snaps them, and they both come back together again. So this is like the polarities. If you choose to be in a positive polarity, then that means you are automatically creating the negative polarity to experience in this playground of God. So if you want to play the hero, that means you're going to have to create also a way for you to be that hero. So there's ways to do it from that neutral place, and then we are just dancing together, all of us playing in this playground. And we choose to believe one thing or the other. The problem, and one of the reasons I'm coming out to teach, is that people are so caught up, and maybe you, in the polarities, in the drama. So are you in your mental drama about the ego and having to be famous and having to be rich and having to have it all, or whatever, at the expense of someone else? Or when we all dance together? So you can play this game in the polarities of big drama, creating each other, creating the opposite ends of the spectrum, or you can move in and move from the heart, from your heart pod. That heart pod, I want to explain to you what it feels like. It is purity. It is like the most refined music you've ever heard, that you almost have to strain to hear it from 30 miles away. It's so beautiful. It's a song. The heart pod has the 5 songs of creation here. What are the 5 songs of creation? Abiding love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. This man who died, about 40 days after his physical death, two big bright beings showed up, one on each side of him, and said, "We're taking Homer with us now, but he'll be back." And I was in such a crisis to have a dead man talking to me that I was like, "Goodbye, Homer. Great to see you. I'm really glad you're leaving, though." And so when he left, it was really quiet for about 7 days. And on the 8th day, Homer came back. And he was now one of these big, bright, golden, glowing beings. He said that he had been dancing with the One and that he had integrated with his whole self. And I have to tell you, it's very rare in any of my sessions that I see humans, when they cross over to the other side, look nothing more than light bodies like their human body. Very rarely do I see these big, bright, golden beings unless they're coming in to teach me or something like this. So Homer became a teacher for me. And what he said is that you don't have to die to dance with the One. You just have to drop the body emotions. And when you move out of the body emotions, which is anger for liver, stress for the heart, worry and anxiety for the spleen, grief for the lungs, and fear for the kidneys, those are body emotions that give you information about its prime directive, which is survival. When you move into that heart space, it feels neutral. It's not emotional. So Homer said you have to be able to move out of your body emotions and move into the 5 songs of creation: abiding love, joy, wonder, inspiration, and gratitude. Over time, I've gotten a lot more information about the 5 songs of creation. And when I was making a slide, the spirits insisted on that slide when I was explaining some of the qualities of the soul pod, of your true self, that it's like this song. They made me put an additional box on that slide that said these are vibrations, these are frequencies, these are not emotions. So joy is a frequency, one of the highest frequencies, and you will feel joy a particular way singing through your system. And so the body then thinks it owns joy. I can guarantee you, unless you have had some kind of a spiritually, what do they call it? A spiritually transformative experience, you don't know what love is. You only get a glimpse, a scratch on a sniff pad of what love is. Because love is something beyond words. When people come back from near-death experiences, they say, "We have no words." I have had so many experiences of being in that bliss field and feeling that love, that unconditional, radiant, palpable love, that when I come back to this level of consciousness, we can't hold that kind of frequency and vibration in us. We can only think about love, and we can't experience it in normal 3D consciousness. We just simply cannot. We can, however, experience joy, wonder, which is that innocence of experiencing something new. Inspiration is very easy to experience here, especially when you love poetry and art and all the arts, and in particular music, and you just reach that crescendo. For those of you who love sex, crescendo is sex, the orgasm in sex. And that's all part of that inspiration feeling. And so each of these energies, they feel differently in the body. Like joy feels like bwah in the whole chest. Wonder is like lights up, like ring up the spine, like, oh, I get to see something new and experience something new. And inspiration is like that orgasm in the body in a great crescendo, whether it's music or art or just a stunning sunrise or sunset. Inspiration is in poetry and written word. Inspiration when you see an act of kindness that you didn't expect. And the easiest one still for you to experience the 5 songs of creation is gratitude. When you feel gratitude in your system, it feels almost like you're a boulder sitting down, cradled in the warm, sunny earth. And it starts pulsing this beautiful, deep boom in your system. So when you do, I love it that there's gratitude practices out there, but it's the easiest one to access that power. And the power when you are in your heart pod is 95%. 5% is in your emotional body. So let me tell you an experience I have constantly when I'm trying to push people back into their centers in my lotus flower retreats and other retreats that I do. So let's say I'm working within a small group and one person is having a breakthrough, and this breakthrough makes them cry, creates empathy within the group, and what happens is instead of the group staying in their center, where I have 95% power that we can be love, not send love, be love, we are in the power, but what happens is I'm holding space for this person that's in this transformative experience in this love field. It's very neutral, it's very powerful. But then I have my whole group who gets empathy. They get out of their centers and they put their centers toward that person, and they drop the power in the room by 95% because they drop into the emotional body, and they're oozing their emotionalism. Emotionalism is not caring. Emotionalism is not love. Emotionalism is 5% of your power. I'm here to teach you power, and you cannot be in your emotions if you want to be in power. And so you got to step it up, and you've got to move into those 5 songs of creation: divine love, abiding love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude, joy, love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. There's a song I have to help you remember these, because it's important to remember these. When you're going down the highway, you want to be breathing these into your center and purging every cell with these high frequency vibrations. People are always talking about raising your vibration. I get sarcastic a little bit about New Age stuff because they're always talking about raising vibration but never say how to do it, or here, I'll sell you this $1,000 gadget to raise your vibration. Nonsense. You raise your vibration by where you put your attention. So you're going down the highway, you're breathing these in, you're blessing your vehicle, you're blessing the people who are on the road with you, you're blessing your path as you go forward. That's how you live your life, by raising your vibration. It's not when you're sitting for 20 or 30 minutes oming away, just sitting there oming. That's not doing a whole lot unless you're intentioning with that oming. So here's the song to help you remember this. And here's a little story that tells you how I got the song. I had these 5 songs of creation words since 2003, actually. But they keep coming back. There's another story about the 5 songs of creation that caused me to write 4 chapters in a book. But this particular experience where the song came in is I was living in Tucson, Arizona at the time. And I had finally had my very first experience of channeling information without a panic attack. And that first time that it happened, the fairies came in, and they're like a hive consciousness, very fast, very high frequency. I can't even get as high as how they are. And so I had experienced them once, and it was a few days after that they came zipping into my bathroom when I was brushing my teeth one morning, and they were singing this song like the old record players where you could change the speed on it, and you put the speed like way, way up. And they were singing, love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude, love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. They were singing it so fast, but I'm going to sing it slow for you, and then I'm going to speed it up so that you can get it from your left side of your brain to your right side of your brain. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. These are the songs of creation. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. These are the songs of creation. Now you sing it. It gets it from the one side of your brain to the other, and it helps you to remember these things when you're out talking to somebody going, I heard this really cool talk, and it was talking about the 5 songs of creation, and those are the songs that sing in your heart. And when you want to inspire yourself and get more high frequency and vibration and build the light, you got to go to the 5 songs of creation. And what were they again? I can't remember. So when you sing it, it helps you to remember. So sing it with me, even if you can't sing anything. Just hum it, sing it the best you can. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. These are the songs of creation. Then you can get really vampy with it. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. Love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude. These are the songs of creation. Boom, boom. So you can have fun with it. Sing it with your groups. And it's just joyful singing it out in the moonlight and in the sunlight and twirling around in a circle and teaching it to your children. And what does it feel like? Just as we've been singing this, I can feel the energy in this room just filling me up like a hot air balloon. And we start expanding our energy field, but not in a delusional way, because we're in and we're grounded. So I started this out by talking about if you're in your head, you're tethered way out there. You get so delusional, and that's why I have so resisted being a channel. I would swear at people who would call me a channel. I nearly didn't go to a conference the first time when they wanted me to talk at a conference, because I saw the advertising and it said, channel, Ellie Drew, and I just said, not going, send. And it took me 2.5 hours to calm down from a panic attack, because I'd had so many dreams all through my life about, you share this kind of information and you'll get killed. So my whole system was saying, don't share this information, you're going to get killed. And when this dead guy showed up and he's talking to me, my whole system was on red alert going, don't talk about this, you're going to get killed. I was resistant to being a channel because people who were tethered way up in the mental realms where all the delusional stuff is, they were channeling information. For me, I would read channeled information and it was like 10 fingernails screeching on a chalkboard, because they're trying to push it as truth. And I can hear the songs, so I know if something is pure or if it's not pure. If you're in your emotions, oh, what's that like? When you're in your emotions, the sound on that is like being with a bunch of bratty kids in a room that's too small, and they're all fighting and they're all screeching. You know how annoying it is if you have a kid screeching in the grocery store, not because they really have a genuine reason to screech, but just because they're being a brat at the time. It's like that, but having a room full of people screaming. And so you must grab your mind by its throat, and you must lock yourself back down into good old-fashioned common sense. You must grab that emotional mind by its throat, and you go, no, you will not control me. And you get that locked down into the power station at the base of your spine. So imagine it as cords in your spine, and I've literally seen these cords shredded. So I'm going to take a moment now for you to go into your system. I want you to breathe into your center here. Breathe into your center on the in-breath. I want you to sink it down to your lower Dantien. And now I'm going to give you a few minutes to just go in and assess your spine, and imagine it like a power cord, like a retractable power cord on your vacuum cleaner. And I want you to see how much of it, what percentage is stuck up in your head, what percent is stuck down in your solar plexus, what part is actually stuck down into my power center. And kudos to those of you who are like fully plugged in your power, ready to do the work. So let's see what you've got. And I'm going to be assessing you too, so that the spirits will bring up anything else that I need to bring up for you. Okay, here's the first thing that they're bringing up, is that at the base of your spine, I don't know what your plug-in looks like, but you've got that sacred geometry sacrum. And that sacrum at the base of the spine is your plug. And the very point of it is the most important part of the plug. And it's not your coccyx, it's at the base of that sacrum. And there's a fatty pad there. The spirits call it a link-up gland. And so you need to make sure that that is not energetically shredded. Sometimes people who have done drugs, what I see on it is it's shredded in multiple ways because too many people are trying to attach onto you and link with you, and not necessarily beneficial spirits, because people who do drugs, they go out quite far without any common sense or grounding or tethering, and they move into those mental realms. It's not going into the heart and moving into the inner dimensions. And so we have to be very careful about not being up in those mental realms. And this is why you must not have any other gods before thee, except your own personal experience, your own common sense, and the discernment of your heart. So when you see that there's shredding at the base of your spine there, just repair it. Use the power of your mind, use your imagination, and repair it. Give it the command. Remember, you've got to use those 3 circles, the word, the imagination, and now really fully be in it and repair it. Good. And you probably feel some really good warmth at the base of your spine also. And that's a very good sign. Okay, so they're saying to repair that first, and now I'm starting to see some of you bringing your cords down. Some of yours, I'm being shown, somebody's pulling their cord down out of their grief. Good for you. I'm seeing that. Yeah, so hers was stuck in the lungs, and so she's pulling it down. Good. Any emotional shreddedness at the drama level of the emotions and the mind. Remember, the mind is always going to want to be right. You can't tell me I'm wrong. And that's the ego mind. And it's not going to want to let go of its portion of the cord. And so, you know what? Who's in charge? You're going to let your mind be in charge, or you're going to be in charge? Remember what I said about being ruthless with your mind. Grab it by its throat and say, you do not rule me. I rule this bodysuit. I rule this vehicle. Good. That's great. Now, a lot more of you are pulling it down now. Oh, that's what you needed to know. Grab your mind, grab your emotions by the throat. It's like riding a horse. Spirits have told me that people waste their whole lives because they never train their horse, the horse they're riding, the vehicle they ride. So, good, good. There's somebody over here stuck in fear. All right, if you're stuck in fear, that means you're not in your center. That means that you're out of your center. So just breathe in, use one breath, pull yourself to your center, because that's the only place where you're going to find that stillness, that quietness. You're not pulling into the center. Pull into the center. Okay, good. You've come into through the back. You've gone into your back spine. Go into the center. It's forward of your back spine. Okay, good. Now go back to your back spine and repair your energy, your spiritual energy field. Good. All right, now I've got some of you over here in the liver energy. Let me see what this is all about. Injustice. Oh, yeah, injustice. Even that, you have to leave the injustice alone, because one of the reasons that I'm coming out here to teach is to teach people the true conscious manifesting information that I got when I was 18 years old. And I was born in 1959, so that was a long time ago. But right now, you need to just, again, one breath, just bring your attention. It's where you put your attention. Bring your attention into your center. If you have any anger issues and injustice issues, pull it into your center. And then on your out breath, sink it down to lower Dantien. Okay, so I need to clear up some confusion because I'm feeling it in the energy field here. So you have two spines. You have a physical spine that has its energy that runs on that physical spine, that creates that physical spine. You also have a central channel that is this column of light that is part of the 8 extra meridians. And these 8 extra meridians are your 8 extra psychic channels. Your primary one is the run that runs through, this is your whole power station. It runs up and down through the center of your body. So when you're in the center of your body here, that's where you bring your attention for centering and grounding. So centering is pulling into that central channel. Grounding is the out breath, and you bring yourself to your lower Dantien. At some point I'll have you go farther down than that, but right now lower Dantien, your lower belly. Then you have your physical spine that you're going to feel tingling going up and down that spine, and that's where that retractable cord is. Physically, that retractable cord is the spinal column. So think of it, it looks just like that. And so you want to make sure that that spinal column, energetic spinal column, is clear and everything is down and plugged into the base of your spine. So now I'm just listening for any additional questions that you might have, and also assessing you. Some of you have it too far up. You're above the sacrum and you're in the lumbar region. You have to go down farther. It's at the base of the spine. It's just right above the crack of your behind. So you need to go down quite far, but not too far. Thank you. That's a good adjustment. Oh, I'm starting to hear you sing. All right. All right. All right. So that means that you can start having some good, healthy boundaries. And this is what I want you to practice this week. And I want you to practice it. I will have no other gods before me, but my own common sense, my own experience, and the discernment of my heart. I will have a questioning, open mind, a discerning heart. So I'm going to go in and see if the spirits have one last word for us. So how do I do this? Center, ground, surrender. You do it with one breath. And just surrender. You just empty your cup and you wait in the stillness. Yeah, there is a message coming through. Wow. I'm just going to close my eyes and let this message come through because it feels more powerful than what I will be able to express it on my own. You are neither children of the light nor children of the dark, for in each is the polarity. You are the children. Be. Experience. Trust. Only in yourself. If you are in your polarity of your emotions or your mind, in either the positive or negative polarity, you are in a delusion. And it's not real, and you have no power in this way, and you are a thrashing child screaming on the floor, not being able to walk or crawl. When you move into that beautiful higher frequency within you, and you start building the light here, your starseed literally starts growing. You naturally experience a growth in your perceptions, and your radio dial bandwidth gets wider and still has clarity. When you have a tiny little shriveled up because you've kept it in the dark, there's that little Christian song, "Don't hide your light under a bushel basket." And life just pours blankets and blankets and blankets to crush us down. And you need to throw off those blankets. And you need to say, I have a life. This is my life. This is not for anybody else to tell me how to live my life. This is my life. When you claim your sovereignty and your right to experience and create here however you want, your life will never be the same. For in that moment, you now have access to high-level information for any question you want. You have libraries and databases of galactic terabytes of information literally stored within the node of your own starseed, your soul pod, your soul chamber. When you go within, you can walk those libraries. You can access information, but you must be patient. For the first times you go in, you only perceive the littlest amount. And the more times you go in and sit in the stillness, still commanding, remember you have to use that sound and that light, that word, that command, and the visualization of having that information. And how do you do it? You just sit in a surrendered place and you build the 5 songs of creation. Build that deep rumbling gratitude through every pore of your body, every cell, every between spaces of your physicality and your energy body that will permeate the chair you sit on and the space that you walk and live in. Breathe in every breath with love, joy, wonder, inspiration, gratitude, and breathe them in one breath at a time. And then hold that breath. When you hold that breath, it's the holding at the top and the bottom of the breath that really spin up your personal expansion. And you just keep putting your attention on that expanded, neutral place that is not in the emotions. When you start doing that, you will immediately start living a life that's very different, and you will start eliminating all those people in your life that are all about drama. I don't have people in my life that are about drama. I just simply will not have them in my life. Remember, you are the writer, the director, the producer, the actor in this experience. I write them out of my script. I will not have it. I will not have negative marriage jokes be passed on to me. I won't have it. It disrespects the sacred partnerships. I simply will not have it. Now, I'll swear, that doesn't bother me. Swearing actually is really good for clearing your liver. And it's good and grounding. And you don't get too prissy in your life. You don't get too fancy in your life. You see, you need to be able to play your piano going up and down the entire chords. You know, if you can't say a swear word, how are you going to help somebody who that's all they can do? If you get into your little snooty thing of, oh, they're not good enough, and you go into your judgments, because as soon as you go into your judgment about something, you are creating the opposite polarity. You yourself are creating it. And the funny thing about all of that is that you end up projecting your own level of consciousness to someone else. So remember this. This is another assignment for the week. Whatever is coming out of your mouth, whatever is coming out of someone else's mouth, isn't about someone else. It's about the person who's speaking. So pay attention and see if you can start picking up how people project their level of consciousness onto another. Remember, you are the writer, the producer, the director, the actor in this experience called your life. Make your life count. This is your time. This is Ellie Drew, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.